Hello, good morning, my YouTube subscribers. Sorry I haven't done a video in a while. I've been busy. I got a lot of progress done. I actually moved the car from my buddy's house, from Eric's house, to another friend's house, where I could, where I made my manifolds, my exhaust manifolds, on his bench. So he's got his '72 Camaro 355 that we're working on, and I had all these stainless steel benches to work and make my manifolds on. But the good news is that I believe the last time I did a video, I was getting stressed out because I didn't have all the parts. I worked myself to a point where I needed more money. I needed to buy more parts. Well, thank you, Joe Biden and the fucking stimulus and whoever fucking sent that out, because that got me what I needed. So, I bought my manifolds, I bought my throttle pedal, bought my brake pedal, bought my rear disc swap, and then I got the steering knuckles, the actual swivels for the steering, and then I put turbos on it. I put two 78, 75 turbos on it. I bought all the exhaust piping. I bought some oval pipe that's gonna go underneath my ass because there's just no room. And I made, man, I've done a lot of work since I even done a video. Holy shit. I had to make the manifolds. I bought Patriot manifold, weld your own manifold kits, which is the last video I did of the unboxing. Normally they face backwards, but I took all the pipes and made my own turbo manifolds. Summit Racing, everything. Two 78, 75 VS Racings. What I have left to do is hook up oil return lines. I got the oil feed lines hooked up. I had to get my alternator bracket. I got a new crank pulley. So that was the biggest thing. I had to wait for my alternator bracket so I could see where the exhaust went, and this is the exhaust. So I knew that in order for my Holley sensor to read the whole motor, it needed to read both sides, and it only has one sensor. So if I went straight back, straight true duals all the way back with the exhaust or whatever, I wouldn't be able to monitor the other side. So I needed to make this exhaust merge somehow, and this is what I came up with. So it comes out of there, crosses right here, and goes back to two flex pipes, and then it will switch to this oval pipe. I got two oval pipes that 45 bends that will go right up underneath my foot. So all I have left to do, exhaust is all hooked up, turbos are on. I could start it if I wanted to, no, I can't because of the oil return lines. But as far as exhaust placement and room, I needed to get the exhaust done so I could see what I had for room for my steering, and I still have room. It's going to be tight, but it'll work. It's definitely going to work. I might have to cut a little bit out of that metal that I put into the firewall so I could drop that U-joint down just a wee bit, change the angle on the steering. All this stuff is coming out, so from like that top left-hand hole of the brake booster is going to get cut all the way up into the windshield. Same thing over here is going to get cut up into the windshield so that I can reach in, so that this stuff isn't here and I can reach in and turn my distributor if I ever need to. Let's see, what else did I get? I'm starting out on 4 PSI. Just because I have yet to even run this thing yet, and so what I'm going to do is we're going to start it without the turbos even plumbed in and hooked up. So the only thing I don't have right now is turbo piping and intercooler. That's the only thing I don't have other than a windshield. But I have everything I need to make this car run, move, and drive. I just don't have time or ambition anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to start it up naturally aspirated. Get a nice, self-tune on it, bring it over to my buddies, put it on a dyno. Get it going, get it, a nice clean, naturally aspirated tune. Then we're gonna stick the 4 PSI springs in here and run it off just wastegate spring pressure, and we'll plumb in the turbos, hook those on, get a tune for that. And the only reason I say 4 PSI is because I don't know the internals. I know that they're brand new and they're brand new pistons, rods, bearings, yada yada yada, but I don't know the specs or whether or not the rings have been gapped for boost. So we're gonna keep it at 4 PSI for now. Once I get a really, really good tune, it runs and drives good on it for a couple weeks on 4 PSI, I'll tear the heads off, tear the intake manifold off, pull the pistons, gap the rings, put everything back together. The other thing I did learn is that this manifold is an Edelbrock RPM air gap. When I decided to go turbo, that probably would have been fine with a naturally aspirated, but when I decided to go turbo, I now need a single plane manifold so that all the fueling distributes evenly to all 8 cylinders. And with an air gap, it really, really won't once you're talking boost. I mean, I'm sure it probably will, but not as good as I want it to. I am making a tubular front end. So what I did was so the radiator's gonna lay down now. I put some angle bar, welded it to the main frame rails, right? So that I could take these round bars and make a basket. So not only will the basket protect the radiator that's now laying down, because I kind of ran out of room with exhaust, and I really didn't want it that close because I still have to fit an intercooler. But not only will it protect the radiator, but when I lift this front end up and it comes slamming back down, it's now, that first bar is also attached to the main frame rails. So it's gonna bump, this is a big ass skid plate cage. So when it comes down, hits, it'll hit on that cage. And I'm hoping that by running gussets and everything, if it hits too hard, it won't bend the frame, which it shouldn't if I can beef it up to this front tube. Jesus, what else? Let's see. I'll show you the brake pedal, I think. Yeah, so this is really cool. I can't wait to do this. This is going to be right up underneath my feet, and then it's all going to come out and turn out right in front of that rear tire. These are the carrier bearings for the steering shaft, because it can't just sit there and be sloppy. I got my Wilwood brake pedal, dual masters, one's for front, one's for rear. I got a Holley GPS speedo sensor, because I know that mine isn't gonna work. Swivels for the steering, my brake kit. I got my Holley 65 PSI fuel pressure regulator, which I don't know, I'm really confused about, because what I really don't understand, and maybe one of you guys can help me understand it, is if this Holley EFI has a built-in fuel pressure regulator set to 59.6 PSI, and that's all that this calls for, why do I need to run an external fuel pressure regulator? I understand the boost reference thing, but why am I putting a regulator on a regulator if this thing already has it? And if you go into the Super Sniper instructions and what it comes with and what it says you need, it says that the fuel pressure regulator isn't included, but it does have the internal pressure regulator. So I don't know, I guess I'm confused why I need to regulate a regulator, but I bought it anyways just in case. And I think that's about it. I haven't really gotten any much further than that. I got these ovaled around. Those were misordered. That's a 3.5 and I'm running 3-inch, so oops. I have 2 of those I'm not gonna be able to use. Oh, I got my Holley boost controller so that eventually, once I get a good tune on it, it'll be able to control its own boost. And we'll go from there, and maybe I can incorporate some sort of speed sensor into this thing so that it could do like a, if it senses, you know how they do like boost by gear or whatever like that, or say like I'm fucking romping on it and it just slips out from underneath me, it'll automatically sense that and drop the boost down so that you're actually grabbing and biting and going instead of just spinning. I'd like to incorporate something like that, but not a huge concern of mine. I'm fine with just totally burning rubber. So this, obviously, I just need to continue running pipes, but we're fucking getting there, man. As soon as I get this part all welded up, I strengthened up this, put a piece of flat stock on it. Once I get the throttle pedal and the brake pedal installed onto the floor, and this cage, front cage done, and the rear disc swap installed onto the rear end, I will then take the whole car, bring it back to my buddy's house that has the lift on it, so I can install the brake lines, and finish the exhaust, and I think that might be it. Oh, there's a piece of frame rail that I need to change the angle on. I don't have to, but for me I do, because it's going to bug me. But that's it. It's going to be this month. This thing's going to be on the road. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what it is. Thanks, guys.